Okay, now I'm going to hand over to Clive, who's going to talk about reporting on AI.
Thank you, Nick, and good afternoon, everyone. I hope you've all got a cold drink to hand, perhaps some AC or ideally both. So our next category, as Nick mentioned at the start, is a new category. How are companies reporting on AI? Of course, that's very different to how companies are reporting with AI. That's probably a whole different webinar. Anyway, the short answer to how companies are reporting on AI is increasingly. So from our research across the FTSE 100, which includes all the kind of March year-end reports that published in the last month or so, 2/3 reference AI in their description of strategy, and that's up from only 23% last year. And over half mention the board's oversight of AI, and that compares with around 38% last year. Okay. Let's take a look at the opportunities. What does good look like? Well, first, of course, AI isn't new anymore. We're all using it. We're all using it every day. It's no longer a technology story. It's a business story. What problems is it solving? How does it support the strategy? How is AI measurable value, creating measurable value for your business? And what are the productivity improvements? Have operating costs reduced? What's the scale of revenues generated from AI-enabled products? And how is it strengthening your position, your competitive advantage? And will competitors struggle to replicate what you've achieved or what you're achieving? And crucially, how are you managing AI responsibly? What governance systems are in place? And where does human oversight come into play? So into the sort of pitfalls on the right, AI washing. Let's not treat AI as a marketing label. Let's explain its strategic significance, its impact on your business model, your future investment plans, and implications for competitive positioning. Okay, so I've got two examples to share with you. And again, as AI is relatively new, some companies have adopted it more quickly and are using it more effectively. And I suppose the two that we've selected here are perhaps at different ends of the spectrum, but both I think are worthwhile exploring. And I hope you'll create or you'll get some value from both of them. Okay, so the first one is Experian again. As Nick was suggesting, they're a data and technology company that operates globally and supports critical financial and commercial decision making. So AI is key to their operation and has been for years. It features throughout their report, I think actually in close to sort of 200 references to AI. Not that that's a measure of strength, but yeah, it's a constant theme throughout the report. And I'm just going to share a couple of those examples with you. Okay, so first up is there's an opening piece from the CEO, separate to the CEO's review, which emphasizes how AI is changing the world and how Experian is ready for that and is already kind of delivering great advantages to its business, its customers, through embracing AI, which it's done for years. The CEO refers to AI as representing a generational opportunity. So a major shift in how organizations will progress and operate. The next example, I've just jumped onto there. Let's go back. Yeah, so the next example is an extract from the business model, which Nick has already covered. But it just emphasizes, as well as talking about how AI is pivotal to the business model, it picks out why it will make a difference to the two sort of broad areas of the business, which is consumer and B2B. And there's a little kind of Q&A that appears through the business model that answers those couple of questions. Again, just giving more valuable insight to how Experian operates and how consumers and their B2B customers will benefit. Moving on to the marketplace. And again, here, Experian not only kind of refers to the influence of AI, but also then provides kind of quantifiable measures of the total addressable market in 3 of its core markets, and how AI is kind of reshaping them, and the role of AI. Again, that's worth a look as well. On to our next example. Yeah, and this concludes the strategy section. Again, talking about how AI is being used to execute the strategy and bring about the advantages that Experian has planned for. So again, a really good example. And throughout the report, there are case studies that go into more detail on Experian's use of AI and how, in this case, consumers are benefiting. Okay, the second example, the second top dog of in the AI category is NEXT. Now, NEXT have not embraced AI in quite the way that Experian have done, and they've been very honest about that in their kind of 2-page discussion of the company's use of AI in their strategic report. Let's just take a quick look at that. Yeah, so as I mentioned, and I don't know if you're familiar with NEXT report, but they're presented with in a very kind of very plain way, but the writing is very good, very direct, very honest, and therefore extremely credible. So they talk about, if I can just quote from the report, in most areas we're only scratching the surface of what AI can do for the business. And then they just talk about a few examples of where they have made more progress. And on the right-hand side there, they actually quantify some of the advantages it's brought to them in their cost centers and their use of technology. So that's helpful there. And then at the bottom of the right-hand page, they also talk about the implication for jobs. And again, brutally honest. Again, just quoting from their report, bottom line, at NEXT, it appears to us that AI will change people's jobs rather than replace them, making them much more effective and taking away many of the tasks they enjoy least. People will need to adapt and change, but NEXT people are generally good at that. And then it concludes with, if we are reflective on the wider economy, then those in jobs need not worry too much. The challenge would be for those looking to join the workforce. So again, frank, pretty brutally honest, but also I think that helps to kind of build the report's credibility and therefore NEXT's credibility as well. Okay, on to the next slide and sustainability with Vicky.